We have Cherokee here again. She's a natural herbalist. She's traveled the world and learned about holistic healing. I met Cherokee over 20 years ago. My mom saw Cherokee and she came home and told me, she said, Chin, I saw this woman out and she was about 5'5" and her hair touched the ground. And I said, well, she must be biracial mixed or Puerto Rican or some other nationality. She said, no, Chin, she's a regular sister. Look like she's from the hood. And I said, well, I want to meet this woman because I've been in the hair industry since 1989. I've been licensed since 1990. So when I saw her, I was amazed by the way that she looked, but I was more amazed by the way her hair was, and it did touch the ground. She was 5'5" and her hair touched the ground. So I knew she knew something special, and women all across the world, especially Black women, their edges are gone. They lose their hair. They want their hair fuller, thicker, longer, and of course, healthier. So Cherokee is going to speak on that. She's going to talk about a vitamin, what you can take. I also let you know where you can get it. But without further ado, Cherokee, give us some information on that.
The hair, the nails, fingernails, toenails, and the skin are all connected. Okay, so one cannot be unhealthy and the other two healthy. That's number one. Okay, the hair is actually a filament of protein that's growing deep within the skin, and the hair has a root called the hair follicle. Okay. And one of the organs of the body that governs hair, skin, and nails is the thyroid gland. And I remember being in Nashville, and it was almost an epidemic of women who were having thyroid issues. And one of the symptoms of a thyroid that's having a problem is the hair begins to break off and gets very thin. Okay, so one thing that we want to make sure of is that we're experiencing thyroid health. Okay, so many times when someone comes to me and they're having hair, skin, and nails issues, okay, I start asking them questions in regards to the thyroid. I also will palpate the thyroid. It sits right here, okay? And I actually put my hands over it and ask them to swallow. And I can feel whether it's enlarged or it has some nodules or tumor growth, okay? People, when their thyroid is very damaged, they will get, the thyroid will grow big, and that's called a goiter, okay? So you want to make sure that you're maintaining your thyroid. The thyroid depends on a substance called iodine in order to be healthy. And the best sources of iodine come from the sea. Okay, so there are sea plants or algae that assist in making the thyroid healthy. Some of those, the names are spirulina is one, chlorella is another, dulse is one, kelp is another. Here in the islands, one popular sea plant is Irish moss, and we make a delicious drink out of the Irish moss. Okay, and then there's another one called bladderwrack. So these sea vegetables have trace amounts of the iodine. You don't want to take too much, okay? But the iodine is what keeps the thyroid healthy, okay? The other thing that will take a hit is stress. People who are under stress, I have seen people who overnight their hair will turn white. when they have a traumatic event that takes place in their life. So if your life is full of arguing and quarreling and job stress and no money and those kinds of stressors, your hair is going to take a hit, as well as your skin and your nails, okay? Now, one of the other big problems with the hair, especially among Black women, is we have a history of, in regards to our hair. We've been made to believe that our hair in its natural state, that something is wrong with it, that it's ugly and unattractive. And so we've put a lot of emphasis and energy into altering our hair so that it looks like other kinds of women, especially Caucasian women. In that altering, many times it's synonymous with damaging the hair, okay? And so we have put chemicals on our hair to straighten it. Not only does that chemical alter the hair, but it damages the hair. And the chemicals get inside our body and becomes what's called an endocrine disruptor. The endocrine system is the system of all of your glands and your hormones, okay? So actually the chemicals that straighten the hair can disrupt your endocrine glands, which are responsible for your hair growth and your hair health. In fact, the thyroid is an endocrine gland. It also disrupts our hormonal system. And as women, our hormonal system pretty much is on a monthly cycle, and it governs our reproductive health. And so it's all connected, okay? So going back, the thyroid should be healthy, but the other thing is what we're actually doing to our hair in attempting to alter it to look other than the way that it is naturally can cause a lot of damage. One of the issues is with the weaving. When you finish having your hair weaved, a weave session, many times it's very tight. And so I have actually seen women walking around doing this. And when I ask, why are you padding? They say, well, I just had my hair done and it's tight. And I do that to keep from scratching because it hurts. Well, if something is hurting, then something's wrong, okay? And that's the body's way of warning you that there is a problem. Well, if you continue with this tightness with the hair over a period of time, the body will respond by, rather than making new natural tissue, it will make scar tissue. When the body makes scar tissue is thicker and more dense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hair cannot grow from scar tissue. And for the most part, this tissue is, it's a permanent damage. Scar tissue does not reverse itself. And that requires surgical procedures. So my sisters, I really want you to be conscious that if your braiding or your weaving is so tight that it's uncomfortable for you, then you need to undo it and find someone who can take care of your hair without damaging you. I have seen in some situations, I've had women come to me where they actually have developed open sores on their scalp that's oozing pus. So you're setting yourself up for infection as well. And some of these women have gone to practitioners who will weave over these sores on the scalp. And they are doing you a real disservice. Okay. So it's a real kind of crazy situation. And we have to decide how we're going to deal with that. I did see something the other day I thought was really interesting, but my hair is in locks, so I can't check it for myself. But on YouTube, there was a woman who had natural hair, and she put a paste of bentonite clay, which is a very healthy clay that you can put on your skin, because clay tends to pull out impurities from the body. But she applied a bentonite clay pack on her hair. And when she washed it out, her hair, rather than look like a fro, it went in little tendrils. So it had that kind of a softer look to her hair. And I found that to be amazing. So they might want to go on YouTube and put in bentonite, bentonite, clay, and natural hair, and see this particular video. I thought that might be an answer for a lot of women. So did I answer your question?
Yes, you have. And we got a lot of other questions that people have sent in to Natural Body 9 24/7 actually lose weight. And the women, a lot of them have asked, can you put something topical on your hair or scalp to make it grow? Because they see a lot of shampoos, conditioners, these drops, or do they have to take some herb or vitamin from the inside out, or can they go from the outside in?
Well, let me say this, that the hair, the skin, and the nails are a reflection of the health of your body. So if you're having hair issues, I would start from the inside with a change in diet to include a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables in their raw state. Okay, I would back off of the processed foods, and I would back off of the flesh foods. Okay, but this is not new information. Hold on.
Okay.
This is not new information. We hear this all the time, but it's real. Okay. As far as topical on your hair, I would say read the ingredients in your products. And if the product has chemicals, preservatives in it, like methyl paraben and proparaben, stay away from those products. You want natural products where you understand what each ingredient, what it is. And if you don't understand it, you can Google it and see what it is, because they're putting a lot of endocrine disruptors in hair products and skin products. The other thing I want you to really be mindful of is whatever you put on your skin, including your scalp, gets directly into your bloodstream, bypassing your digestive system. Okay, so if you're applying a lot of chemicals to your skin, such as suntan oil, I have a lot of Black women that come ask me about suntan oils. It's chemicals. So if you're putting that on your skin, you might as well be eating it, because it's getting directly into your body. So I would say what you're applying to your scalp, make sure it doesn't have chemicals in it. It should be natural substances. There are some products that would help to keep the hair supple and soft. One of them is coconut oil, does an excellent job as a skin application, scalp application. Okay, I use aloe vera in my hair. There's a lot of aloe vera growing here, And so I take the fresh leaf and slice it down the middle, the long way, and scoop out the gel. And I put the gel in my blender and make a substance. And I actually massage my scalp with the aloe vera gel. Aloe vera is a very healing substance, but the gel also cleans your hair. And so my husband, Tosh, who has very, very, very long locks, the Rastas here wash their hair with aloe vera gel. They also wash it with a cactus plant called Nopalis. Okay. So I really encourage women to use natural products. The other thing that's excellent for washing the hair, that cleanses it as well as softens, is black soap, African black soap. You just have to be careful about African black soap because now that it's become popular, they're starting to add chemicals to it. So you want to get the pure African black soap. I have read some reports that if in your shampoo or any other hair treatment, you can add what's called cajeput oil. Cajeput comes from the cayenne pepper. And when you apply it to your skin, it heats up. And the feeling is that when you massage it into your scalp, it will increase the circulation to your scalp. And anytime you increase circulation to your skin, what's being said is that it could promote hair growth as well.
Okay. I know they saw Tosh standing in that tree on another video with his hair, because Tosh is, what, 5 feet 10 inches long? And
he's 5'11".
5'11". Okay. And his hair was probably about a foot longer than him, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So probably make his hair
longer than 6 foot.
Right.
And, for Rastafarians to wear your hair long, just like you see men from India, they call them Sikhs, that wear the turbans. They are of the belief that the hair should not be cut. And it's for spiritual and religious reasons. Just like in the Bible, there's the story of Samson and how he lost his strength when Delilah cut his hair. They wear their hair without altering it for religious reasons. And spiritually, it's felt that the hair carries a certain strength, and the hair is a sacred antenna that can open you up to more spiritual powers.
Now, your hair used to touch the ground, and you're how tall, Cherokee? 5'5"?
I'm 5'5", yes.
5'5", and your hair touched the ground. So
at one time, yes.
When did you cut it? You cut it a couple of years ago, or?
It's been about 3 years. 3 years ago that I cut it, and I cut it because I went through a illness where it was very difficult for me to take care of it because it was so long. Okay. And 3 years ago, I cut it like to here, to my shoulders. It's now to my back. It's below my waist now.
Now on the vitamins and herbs, can you talk a little bit about the vitamin and the herb?
Yes. Specifically the product that you promote, when I reviewed it, it's full of vitamins. Anytime your body has the nutrients that it needs or vitamins that it needs, then you're going to be in a healthy state. Okay. When you're in a healthy state, then the hair, nails, and skin is going to be healthy. And that's the bottom line.
With now, when they get, will you give them a meal plan with that, where you tell them everything like a protocol to help promote their hair growth and edges along with that?
Yes, well, the first thing that I tell my clients is you have to keep the body's tissues as clean as possible. So that means that when you wake up in the morning, within an hour after waking, you should have your first bowel movement elimination of the day, okay? As well as when you first wake up, you should have a couple of glasses. You see, I've got mine here, okay, of water, clean water, okay? My preference is coconut water. I just ran out of it. But either coconut water or regular water, first thing, okay? The first meal of the day is called what? Breakfast. If you take that word and break it apart, it's break fast. You never break a fast with heavy food, okay? Because it's a shock to your body, a shock to your system, okay? So a fast should be broken first with water to flush your digestive system and get it ready for eating, okay? And then next thing, gradually with fresh fruit, okay, or vegetable juice. The body is not really ready to take food until around noon. So I suggest to my clients that they don't have their first meal until full meal until noon. Up until that time, they should have fresh fruit. Okay. It is at noon that the bodily cycle, okay, is prepared and ready for digestion. And at that point, I suggest that they have a big, beautiful salad, okay? And there are numerous different types of salads. I know when most people think of salad, they think of lettuce with some other veggies cut up on top of it, okay? But there's coleslaws, there's Waldorf salad, there's arugula salad, there's all different types of salads. So be very creative. There's lots of information online where you can put salads in there, raw salads, and you'll get all kinds of ideas that come up. So my suggestion is, again, you start the morning out with water to flush your system. Then the next thing is you do your fresh fruits. And then by noon, you do at least the one big, beautiful salad, okay? And if you must, if you are a flesh eater, okay, then make sure that it's lean, that it's animals that are grown in their natural state. For instance, cows are not naturally corn eaters, but the way that they raise the cows, they feed them grains. Cows are not grain eaters. Cows are grass eaters. I know there in Nashville, they have a wonderful farmer's market. And on Saturday and Sunday, you have farmers there who advertise the fact that they grow their animals naturally, the chickens naturally, okay? I suggest that should be your source of your flesh foods. At least then you know that the animals are allowed to walk around, eat what they naturally eat, and that their meats are gonna be a lot more healthy and without all of the hormones and the preservatives. And that's another thing that's really tied to hair growth is if you're eating meats where the animals are full of hormones and antibiotics and lots of chemicals, you're getting endocrine disruptors in your food. So it makes it really not food. It makes it a non-food. Okay. So you're doing your body, you're making yourself sick when you're doing what's natural to you, and that's eating. Okay. Then for your evening meal, which should be before the sun goes down. Okay. Then to have another smaller salad, a lean meat if you must, and a vegetable, a soup, but not anything like real heavy, not a lot of potatoes, not a lot of starchy foods. Your starches convert to, your body converts starches to sugars. That's one of the problems here in the islands. The people eat a lot of starches. And this is a throwback from the enslavement days, where they ate these real heavy starches to carry them throughout the day as they did physical labor. And I have a lot of people that say, well, my grandmother, she ate all the starches, she lived to be 90. Well, during that time, they did heavy physical work. We're not doing that kind of work for the most part anymore. We're watching TV, relaxing, sitting around. And so those starches do us a real disservice. So you want to minimize on the starch, minimize on the flesh eating, and maximize on your intake of fresh fruits and vegetables. Okay.
Now on the vitamins, there are a lot of cheap vitamin and herbs out there that say they promote hair growth and all of that, but a lot of the cheap ones, can you talk about, you said something off record earlier about the fillers and additives so people can be aware of that?
Yes. In fact, there was a big controversy that Walgreens and Walmarts, they were selling vitamins that were full of cellulose, which is a wood fiber, okay, and had very little herbs in them or vitamins in them. So you have to really be careful. And let me put an exclamation point behind that by saying they are anticipating, because the baby boomers like me are getting older and we want to be healthy, okay? And so they are anticipating the wellness business to be a multi-billion-dollar business. So anytime something is projected as being, the new big business, you're going to have a lot of people jumping on the bandwagon with all kinds of different products.
Right.
Cheap doesn't always mean that it's not good, and expensive doesn't always mean that it's good. You need to be mindful about the products. If there's a brand name that you're comfortable with, then you might want to stick with that brand name. Okay. For me, I use herbal products from the Pure Herbs Company because I know the people who put that company together. I've sat in a lot of their conferences and I'm very comfortable with their integrity. So it's important that you deal with a manufacturer that has a high sense of integrity. The other thing we were talking about going online, you might want to check the reviews and see what people are saying about the product. But that's really the only way, what do they say? The proof is in the pudding. So the only way you really know if the product is good is to give it a chance and see how it works for you.
Now, what about some of the people that buy for price? Because I know a lot of people go to Walgreens and Walmart and they say, well, I can get this for $10.
Yeah.
Is that, you get what you pay for?
I would say for the most part, you're going to get what you pay for.
Okay. I'm going to share the screen real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. I guess they can see that. That's where we went on Amazon. I know Amazon has a lot of different products and a lot of people go on here to buy certain products. I don't know There's a lot of products on here.
Okay.
And you talked about the drops too. The argan oil, I know that's been pretty popular also.
Yeah, I smile when I see it's actually called D-argane,
Mm-hmm.
apostrophe argane.
Okay.
It comes from a nut that it grows in Morocco. And I happened to visit Morocco. I learned about the D-argane nut and the oil many years before it even became popular here.
Mm-hmm.
They make a nut butter out of it that is absolutely just delicious, the flavor, okay? And
Mm-hmm.
the oil is known to be extremely rich in nutrients and vitamins. So excellent for the skin and the scalp. Now that it's been found, okay, it's pretty expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But in its pure form, it's good. My oils, I like to keep in the refrigerator.
The oils, okay. I'm gonna share the screen with them real quick so they can see. So they can go to this site. Actually, let's see. 24/7 lose weight actually has the product, and they'll also be able to go to the other site, which is Natural Body Now. So I'll pull this up on the screen real quick just so they can see. So those are the two sites that they will be able to go to for the vitamins. Anything else that you want to share with the women before we jump off?
Well, yeah, one thing that I would share is I have seen some very positive videos of Black women, especially, talking about hair products, ways that they're styling their hair. And there are some very beautiful styles that could be done for natural hair. Very attractive for natural hair. And it's something that you might want to consider. It's freeing where, you know, you're not having to go necessarily to someone and have chemicals put in your hair and suffer. That we can have beautiful hairstyles without all of the manipulation. So I am encouraging that. And the other thing that I am encouraging, because words are very powerful, okay, is that we not refer to our hair as bad hair and someone else's hair as good hair. God made us. We were the first people on the planet, okay? And God didn't make anything bad.
Okay, she's been transforming lives, and I just want to show some of her work, raising chick of Atlanta, because you see how that woman's hair is gone.
Yes, but you can see that she still has hair coming from her scalp. It's
Right.
not completely bald.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I wanted to share. So she still had hair coming from her scalp. Let's go to another one of, okay. Now let's pull this up. What about that?
Okay, that lady, it's really hard to tell just looking at the screen.
Mm-hmm.
It appears that the parts that are completely bald may be scar tissue.
Okay.
But what the other thing, because I've seen this work before, this stylist is able to take the hair that the person has and cover up the spots that are balding. And so I commend her for her work, because I've gotten a lot of women that they just have resigned themselves to wearing wigs.
Right. And this is all their natural hair, like you said. I mean, covering it up.
Yeah.
Okay, Cherokee. Well, I thank you for sharing all of that great information with them, and they will, when they get the product, I'll also give them a copy of this video. And also, you do consultations too. I know I try to send any and everybody that I can consultations from the diabetics, high blood pressure, just any ailment. You're a walking Bible.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Chin. It's a high compliment coming from you. Let me say that I have done some telephone consultations. Lately, I've been attempting to do some international travel, which kind of takes me in and out of time. Or in and out of pocket. So if you don't get me, please call me again. Just wait a few days and call me back. Okay. I'm attempting to juggle a lot at the same time. But I've had some wonderful consultations from people that you've referred me to. My number where I can be contacted is area code 340-227-8043. Again, that's 340-227-8043.
And you can always go to the website Natural Body Now if you need to contact Cherokee, and I can put you in contact with her, or you can go to 247loseweight.com and I can put you in contact with Cherokee just in case you did not get that number. But since we have this video, you can just rewind it. It was one other thing, Cherokee, that I wanted to ask you about when women get the natural herbs, like to help lose weight or boost their metabolism and all that. Some of them have asked their doctors, should they be taking these natural herbs for that ailment? And the doctors are telling them not to take natural herbs from the Mother Earth, but yet they're taking these man-made drug pills that cause a lot of issues. So can you tell us about that?
Well, when you're dealing with doctors, sometimes when I think of the word doctor, I think of indoctrinated. They have been programmed by the pharmaceutical industry to feel that that's the only thing that works, because that's all that they really know. Some have gone the extra mile to study herbs and to look at other natural and alternative, I don't call them alternative, I call them traditional ways of treating people. But for the most part, physicians are threatened by the concept of natural herbs and natural treatments. They're very intimidated by it, number one, because they don't know much about it. And number two, it becomes competition for what they do.
Now, you've traveled the world and learned about holistic healing and all of these natural herbs and vitamins. Can you tell them a little bit where you've gone and how you've sat with these people in the jungle and these different remote places to learn about the vitamins and herbs that you formulate?
Well, as a registered nurse and watching and observing the kind of care that's provided by conventional medicine, I became convinced that there had to be another way that was not harmful to people, because I saw a lot of harm being done. I have a background with my grandmother of using herbs. She always used herbs. She believed in doing what was called a washout every week. So the grandchildren had to stand in line to get their castor oil and cod liver oil and the different things to clean our bodies out. So I've always been open to that. And so one thing led to another for me to pursue the natural medicine. I have traveled quite extensively throughout Central America, South America, Northern Africa, and Western Africa, and the islands, the Caribbean, to sit down and study with traditional healers. Many times they were elders, and they were like 15th generation healers. In other words, the traditional healing was passed down from grandfather to grandson, and then from grandson to his grandson. Okay. And so these are years and years and years, hundreds and hundreds of years of learning and revising and improving upon a method. And the work that I've seen most all of them do is just nothing short of miraculous. So I've had an opportunity on the inside to observe conventional medicine doctors and to compare them with the work of these elders that are working in small villages and outside of the country. And I can say that if I were to become ill, chronically ill, meaning, a long-term illness like a high blood pressure or what have you, I would rather go to these people in these small villages than to go to conventional medicine. But let me say conventional medicine has its place in terms of acute situations. If I were experiencing something like a stroke or a heart attack, I want to go to the hospital. They have, even though they're using synthetics, they have synthetics that can reverse or melt a blood clot fairly quickly so that you can get the nourishment to your heart or to your brain, which to your heart is a heart attack when you get a blood clot that blocks blood flow. And when you get a blood clot that blocks blood flow to your brain, that's called a stroke. They have the chemicals to take care of that. If I'm in a motor vehicle accident and I have a punctured lung, by all means, I'd like to have that treated at a hospital. But for chronic long-term illnesses, they have not figured out how to reverse and to assist the body to heal those problems.
Okay. I wanted to ask you a question. Now, your oldest son, you got 3 sons, correct?
I have 3 sons. Mm-hmm.
This is 2017, the year we're doing this interview. How old is your oldest son?
He was born in 71. I stopped taking track.
Okay. Yeah, because you never tell your age, Cherokee.
When people ask me how old you are, I say I'm ancient.
Right. But see, your son is the same age as me. I was born in 71. So 2017, I'm 46. My mom is up there. I won't say her age, but she's way up there. And you really look young and got a lot of energy.
Well, thank you. I do. I feel young and I feel a lot of energy. And I want to share that with my folks, my people. I hear other people who are focused on their health and they're exercising, taking care of themselves. What about us? We have to step up to the plate and start to consider these things. And we have to discipline ourselves to change. And so it's time. And even if you're young, you're in your 20s, the earlier you start working at this, the better off you'll be when you become older. You Google, actually on YouTube, there's a woman, her name is Annette Larkin. Mm-hmm. And you might be familiar with her. She's in her late 70s. And I mean, that sister, she's got it going on. I want to be like her when I grow up, okay? So these individuals, and I'd like to think of myself, we are demonstrating to you the possibilities, okay? But it does take self-discipline. You have to stop and drink water, and even if you don't like it, you learn to like it over a period of time, okay? Stop the sodas. I can't tell you the last time I've had a soda. to drink. And I make sure every day I'm getting fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. I've even moved to a location where I feel the air is fresher and the water is cleaner. Okay. I keep my life simple. I don't get involved in complicated type of issues. And I stay away from toxic people. Okay, so that I don't have those stress levels. Okay, I really feel that God meant for us to be happy and at peace with ourselves, and that's extremely important to me. So I have had an opportunity to meet people even more elder than me who are so spry. We have a lot of people here on this island from Dominica. Dominica is a place that has more people over the age of 100 than any other place on the earth. And when you talk to these individuals, they're eating those fresh vegetables, those fruits. They're not eating the processed foods. And if they're eating flesh foods, it's usually fish that's baked or grilled, okay? But when you start examining that, there is a correlation between what you eat, your stress levels, and your health as you grow older.
Well, I know at the weight loss company for the natural herbs to promote weight loss, a lot of the women, when I talk to them and say, go, Cherokee said, well, you need a raw fruits and vegetables diet or whatever. They say, well, what if I'm going to be hungry? So can you tell them about that? Because they think they're going to be hungry. And
that's not true, okay? You're more hungry now because your body continues to crave the nutrients that you're not giving it, okay? And this is why you're always hungry. You want to eat more, and then you eat, and then you're still hungry. And it's because the body is saying, you gave me something in my stomach, but there's nothing there of value. And I need you to give me something of value. So what you will find when you eat a meal that's chock full of nutrients, you won't be hungry for hours. Okay, I'm at a place where I'm eating one meal a day, but the meal that I eat is of such quality, my body doesn't crave for anything else because I'm giving my body what it needs.
okay.
Does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. So they will see this, and I'll be sharing it with them. And I thank you, Cherokee, for sharing this great information about the natural, the hair vitamins and herbs, and as well as we talked a little bit about the weight loss.
Well, I am so pleased to be working with you on a product of the quality.
All right. Thank you, Cherokee. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.